Hey guys, keep it high, keep it tight, it's Boris the Review Guy, and I'm back again to bring you another video, and in this one I'm going to be doing an album review for Omnium Gatherum's new album, The Burning Cold, and I'm really hoping that I pronounced Omnium Gatherum correct. So, this came out on August 31st on Century Media, and I completely bypassed it at first, but I went ahead and listened to it, and I'm really glad I did, because it was a fairly enjoyable album. But before we get into the video, I just wanted to say, I did a video yesterday that's entitled Why I Do YouTube, and it's kind of a long-form rant video about, well, why I do YouTube, why I think you should, my motivations, all that type of stuff, and things that keep me motivated. So if you would like, you can go watch that video. I'll put it in the end screen credits, so or you can go to my channel and watch it. Yeah, so anyways, Omnium Gatherum's new album. Omnium Gatherum is a melodic death metal band that was formed in the mid-1990s, and they are kind of a melodic death metal band that mixes in some progressive metal, which it's not something that we in any way haven't heard before necessarily. A lot of melodic death metal bands, especially some of those OGs, they will like to experiment with progressive metal and other genres, kind of similar to how a lot of black metal bands have been experimenting more over time with like atmosphere and different genres. That's where like the black gaze movement came out with bands like Alcé and bands like Death Heaven, all that type of stuff. Well, I have to say, this album is a good melodic death metal album. That's the best way I can put it, because nothing on this album necessarily blew me away. It was kind of like that Parasite Inc. album, where it was a good album for what it was trying to do, and this album is good for what it's trying to do, but I feel like the experimentation, it's not necessarily like the most up to snuff type of thing. The second track, which the first track's kind of this like short little intro, it runs about at 2 minutes runtime, but the second track, which I consider to be the first track, Gods Go First, which is it runs in like the 4 minutes and like the mid 4 minutes, and this song, in my opinion, is the standout for this whole album, at least for me. I really like the synths that are over these vocals in the background, especially when the intro kind of hard melodic death metal riffs come in and you hear these synthy type of electronics. And see, like I said at the beginning, nothing that we haven't heard before, especially from recent melodic death metal bands. They enjoy incorporating electronic elements. They enjoy incorporating like synths. So this wasn't something that necessarily caught me off guard. It just came off as catchy. It didn't stop the song from coming off as extremely just a catchy blend of heavy and like melodic type of sounds. And this album has some good vocalization. Like I said, it's melodic death metal. The vocalist does a good job of having that kind of gritty melodic death metal sound, just like kind of like the I hate comparing it, but like the lead vocalist of Amon Amarth, that's kind of what I judge melodic death metal vocals from, because he really does do it, like, in my opinion, the best. This album, in the end, is 11 tracks, and a lot of these reach into the 5-minute mark. And while these tracks are long, do they merit being long? I don't know. This whole album runs into the issue of being melodic death metal 101, so it makes it difficult to really judge it as its own entity, considering how impossible it is, considering how much it's like a lot of other contemporary artists and even original artists. But for what it is, for what it's worth, I think that this is a good melodic death metal album with some neat electronics thrown in. Not much experimentation, but if you're a fan of this type of music, it's going to be impossible for you not to enjoy it for the most part, unless you just don't want to hear the same thing, if you're looking more for like an experimental cutting-edge type of sound. Overall, it's a pretty good melodic death metal album, and I enjoyed it. I would go back and listen to Gods Go First. Most of the tracks, in my opinion, despite their length and despite the fact that you can tell there's some technical proficiency by the instrumentation and the players in the band, nothing necessarily seems that like outstandingly memorable in my mind, and nothing really sticks to memory as being just extraordinarily groundbreaking, and I don't know if they're really trying to reinvent the wheel. They're probably just trying to make a good melodic death metal album, and if that was their original intention, then I believe that they did succeed in the end, because this album is a really good melodic death metal album, and if you like it, feel free to check it out. It is a fairly longer one, so if you want a lot of content, you can get that. All these songs have that nice grit to it, the nice drum work, the kind of technical but melodic guitar riffage, and some electronics and synths thrown in, and some good vocalization. The mixing's pretty good. I think that the mixing is done well on this album. There was no point where I felt like the mixing felt a bit raw. It's raw enough to feel like a good metal album. Like, I don't like metal to be overly produced, but I feel like it borderlines it and stays kind of on the straight line of not being overly bolsterous with like mixing. I think that that's a good thing. I think that it came out well, and yeah, so I'm gonna give this album a 6 out of 10 because it is above average. I don't think it's average. I think that it's above average, and there's a lot of good things about it, but at the same time, I don't think that it's gonna blow anyone's mind on impact. Anyways, guys, I would love to hear what you guys think of this album, so please post in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and I will shout your channel out if you like and comment down below. In the end screen, you can find that previous video that I was talking about earlier, and I might link like an Amon Amarth or that Parasite Inc. review, and I'll talk to you guys next time. But until then, my name is Jay Morris, the Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.